7 months before the incident that happened to Elisa Lam, someone, unaware of what will happen, comes to the Cecil Hotel to stay.
We're at the fabulous Cecil Hotel in downtown Los Angeles, and we're gonna fancy, premium quality hotel. Beautiful, top quality. Look at this. These wonderful elevators. I mean, just kind of ignore the.
Once inside, they arrive at the exact location where Elisa is, namely the 14th floor. Most people ask, aren't there any other cameras on the hotel floors? Why aren't there images from other cameras? These images answered exactly this question, because right after we get out of the elevator, we see that there are no cameras in the corridor. This actually explains why we can't see Elisa from different angles. Another important aspect of this video is that it was shot before Elisa disappeared, and we can see the elevator, the inside of the room, and many details before the incident, but we need other answers to understand what happened. For example, why did Elisa go up to the 14th floor? Because she was staying in room 412 on the 4th floor. Apart from that, why was the security camera footage cut? While the incident was already mysterious, what makes it even more mysterious is a movie shot in 2002. This movie, called Dark Water, told the story of what happened to a mother named Dahlia and a girl named Cecilia in the apartment where they stayed. But there are incredible similarities between Elisa's experiences and those in this movie. At one point in the movie, a woman named Dahlia, who gets into the elevator as if she is running away from something, looks worried. Later in the scene, the woman leans against the corner of the elevator, just like Elisa did. Same place and same perspective. Later in the movie, a woman named Dahlia, in order to protect her daughter, enters the water tank on the roof and loses her life. Apart from this, the part that is even more interesting and worries me is, Elisa wore a black skirt, a red outfit over a white top, just like the person in the movie. Was this a coincidence? Or was someone using Elisa and pursuing some unknown gains? Perhaps what Elisa wrote on her blog before she passed away can give us some clues to find answers to these questions. Elisa. She wrote on her Twitter account that she suffered from insomnia many times. Again, what he wrote on his Tumblr account was interesting. Most of his thoughts were filled with pessimism and anxiety. She complained that she had no friends in some places. In fact, the quote she pinned on her Tumblr account read, "You're always haunted by the idea you're wasting your life." Looking at what he wrote in general, it can be seen that he is quite prone to suicide. It was also revealed in the autopsy report that Elisa was taking sedatives just to cope, as said by her family. But when we looked at Elisa's travel route, the 3-day check-in for Cecil Hotel, and the other places she planned to visit afterwards were the things that caused confusion. Why would someone who wanted to commit suicide plan a continuation of the trip? Or why would he choose to enter the water tank instead of jumping from the roof? Perhaps the most important question was the reason for Elisa's strange movements. While some said he was talking to someone and telling something, others thought he was angry at himself for not being able to move the elevator, and that's why he did those actions. But a substantial majority also said that he was talking to, or under the influence of, a so-called spiritual person. The most important questions that come to mind when Elisa disappears are the cuts in the elevator image, the change in the autopsy report, were about how she climbed onto the roof, which had an alarm system, without warning, and how she closed the lid after entering the water tank she was in. At first everyone thought it was a clear murder, but the situation was different. Elisa was laughing in an interesting way at times in the elevator. The reason why the elevator didn't move was because he pressed a button to hold the elevator. A Chinese man who wondered about these and went to the hotel checked the buttons Elisa pressed in the elevator and noticed that the bottom button in the middle was he was holding the elevator doors. He then tried to reach the roof and succeeded, and without activating any alarm system. Another interesting thing was that the lids of the water tanks were open when he reached the top. He could easily climb onto the roof and did not need a ladder to get into the water tank, because tanks could be easily reached from the top. In fact, what Elisa wrote explained everything. Elisa was never satisfied with her life. She was obsessed with this. Even sleeping was tormenting him now. She was tired of being ignored. She wanted to prove her existence to people, to the whole world. Although Elisa was on the 4th floor, she went up to the 14th floor because she wanted to reach the roof. She had already planned some things in her mind. Bipolar, that is, personality disorder and depression, was the biggest factor in this. She wanted to give up for a moment. So she went back to the elevator and pressed all the buttons. At that time, she was afraid that someone would find him and ruin his plan. Elisa was hyperopic, so she wore glasses. This was why he bent down and pressed the buttons in the elevator very closely, and when he thought he saw someone, he felt around with his hands. Then, after realizing that there was no one around, she headed to the roof. She reached the roof from the fire escape on the 14th floor. She tried to find a way to go up to the water tank as planned and saw the red stairs. She used the stairs to reach the top of the roof. To get into the water tank, she walked slowly, entered the water tank, and lost her life. Elisa Lam adapted all the details to herself, just like in the movie, and ended her life in the same way. She did this especially at the Cecil Hotel, which had a dark past. Elisa's dream had come true. Now the whole world was talking about her.